When you're spending so much time, I call it on the admin of insights, it's really hard to have enough time on stakeholder engagement. And if you study those who do it well, whether it's an insights person or I'd say a management consulting company, this is completely flipped. Stakeholder engagement is their number one amount of time spent. You've got to understand the laws of growth for your company. In CPG and beyond CPG, a lot of the laws of growth have been established. It's about getting more people to use your product in more occasions and to spend more for each occasion. So that is one way or another, you're going to grow by expanding your audience, by getting that audience to do it more often or to spend more for every time they engage with your product. And in CPG, How Brands Grow has taken over a lot of the companies thinking in this space, and it's about penetration, frequency, dollars per unit, and volume per unit. So those are the levers of growth. And if you have read this book, there's one that's the most important, that matters more than any of them, and that's penetration. You can get all of your buyers to buy one more chocolate bar, but it won't make up for the losses of people who are no longer buying your product, or you will never grow as fast as gaining another buyer. So we focus a lot on how to attract more buyers who are going to purchase you in a year. And yes, we have to look at frequency. We want to make sure that we're not losing frequency. And we're always looking for ways to, of course, especially in the last few years, charge more, right, for every unit. And in many cases, we've gone overboard in that regard, and it's starting to hurt volume, or I would say frequency, or even we're losing buyers because our pricing's out of whack. So it's a balance, it's an algorithm, and all of our work, our insights work, needs to be focused on one of these levers, on how to help with insights to drive these levers. So I think about the work, doing the right work, but also planning the work. And I've done a bit of a assessment at Mondelēz, and this isn't any different than where I worked in other places. But if you talk to any insights leader, their number one challenge is capacity. There's never enough time or money to do the amount of work that needs to be done based on the questions you're being asked, based on the things you see that need to get done. And we spend a lot of our time, I'd say 75 to 80%, report building, deck building, call it vendor management with all of the vendors and ecosystem that help in insights function. And we spend a little time with shopper, a little time with the consumer, a little time kind of hunting for new opportunities for growth that you might bring to the table, things that no one's asking for that they should be asking for. And then there's this thing called stakeholder engagement. That's where you're influencing. And when you're spending so much time, I call it on the admin of insights, it's really hard to have enough time on stakeholder engagement. And if you study those who do it well, whether it's an insights person or I'd say a management consulting company, this is completely flipped. Stakeholder engagement is their number one amount of time spent. So this would be an ideal. I want to spend more time hunting for growth, doing things that aren't being asked from me, but I know the company needs. I call this growth hunting. I need to spend more time with my stakeholders to influence them, to make sure those decisions are being made with data. I need to spend more time with consumers and shoppers. And it's embarrassing. If you ask 100 insights people how many hours they spent with a consumer or a shopper last year, a good majority of them might actually say 0. They're not actually spending face time with consumers and shoppers. And that's appalling, but it happens because we're busy building data reports and decks and jumping from meeting deadline to meeting deadline. And we outsource a lot of that. You start to lose touch with the real empathy part of what we should be doing. The only way to find that time is to do less deck building, less vendor management and reports.